Ding 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 ding.
Easy work, man.
Easy work, man.
Well, boys and lady boys, what's the crack? How are we doing? What's the story? We're back again in Thurso, up in north of Scotland. Back doing more stuff around the house, around our lovely little bungalow. What are we doing this week? We're making a panel for the side of the bath. How does that sound? A big old panel out of plywood. That's what I'm doing here. Got myself some plywood. Went away up to Rembrandt timber. Shout out to red Rembrandt timber, by the way. The big RT. It's some spot, I have to say. Everywhere else in Thurso is pretty expensive for materials. I think because it's so remote up here, way up in the Highlands, up in I think the county's called Caithness. Because we're so remote, everything's expensive. Like, it's all, I'm not even joking, like 50%, 100% more expensive than down the central belt. But not Rembrandt timber. It's good. Look at me trying to lift up onto the wee plastic horses there. No, easy. It's quite heavy. The old plywood. But aye, it's well expensive. Everywhere but our good friends Rembrandt timber. I was quite surprised. I went up and bought a load of wood from them, some plywood and battens and stuff and 2x4s, and I was like, oh fuck, how much is this going to cost? Because everything's just adding up, and it came out to like 40 quid, and I was like, nae bother, mate, nae bother. Almost felt like giving them a wee tip, but I didn't. We don't tip, not in Scotland. I'm only joking, I do sometimes. So sorted myself out with some 12mm plywood here. And this is to go on the side of the bath, yeah. So you can just buy a panel for the side of the bath. You can just buy them. I don't really know why I didn't do that. I think I had it in my head that I wanted to kind of, make one myself. But you can just buy them. I'm sure it's a lot easier than this fucking hassle. But I said, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. So I went and got myself some of this. It's just regular plywood. You can get marine grade plywood, which I think is kind of recommended for stuff that's going to be getting wet. So you would imagine maybe marine plywood would have been better for the bath, but I reckon this will be grand. I'm going to get it well painted and stuff and waterproofed. Anyway, taking the old circular saw to it, and you can see I've made myself a wee jig to try and keep it straight, to keep the cutting straight. I kind of came up with this myself and I felt quite proud. I'm sure there's maybe a better way to do it, but I put the old meter rule across it and a couple of clamps just to make sure that I'm cutting straight. Because in the past I never did this with stuff, and I always did big wonky lines. But yeah, see, when you get to this part of cutting through something, somebody give me some advice. What do you do? Because it gets really awkward, and you can't reach anymore, and then the whole board feels like it's going to collapse, and then it does just collapse. It always ends up falling. So I don't know if there's like some kind of trick to stop that from happening. Anybody who does a bit of DIY or woodwork will know what I'm talking about, and they might be able to help me. I need help. But anyway, as you can see, when you get the cut, when you're cutting through and you get near the end, the whole thing kind of falls apart. And then I just finished off the end with a handsaw. And then you'll see it all just drops and falls apart. Like, so I don't know if there's like any way of kind of bracing it. Yeah. Any advice would be appreciated. But we got there anyway. That's one cut done. Pretty sure this was at like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm zooming away with the old circular saw. I've got a lovely wee neighbour called Sandy. She's so nice. And it was music to my ears whenever she told me that, you know, her hearing's not the best. I was like, Kerchang. Because you know, I'm working all day, and then I'm getting home at whatever, 6:30, sometimes later. Gonna get a bit of a feed in me, and then I'm kind of getting on the tools, getting on the fucking electric tools, and it can be quite noisy, and I don't want to be upsetting any neighbours, but I don't think I will be, because I don't think they can hear me, so I'm all good. Anyway, got the old circular saw flying through this ply. Yeah, this is the bit that gets me. What do you do when you get to arm's length and you're trying to keep on cutting, but you don't want to be dangerous? You don't want to be, you know, overstretching. You've got this big saw whizzing around. So there must be some wee tricks, some wee trade tricks, trade secrets. I would appreciate some help. But anyway, this is another bit of fudging it. Is that what you call it? Fudging it when you're just making it up. I was trying. Oh, this was my answer to the board kept falling. I put a clamp on my wee step ladder and tried to just hold it up a wee bit with that because I had nothing else. And as you can see, that is not a very secure setup. Danger. May not work. But aye, you can't just buy a bath panel, and I'm sure it's a lot easier. But because we're kind of doing like a paneling design around the whole house, I wanted it to kind of flow, and I wanted the side of the bath to be a continuation of that. So you will see what I'm talking about whenever it's done. Yeah, this is the bit. See how it just falls. Oh dear, it just feels all a bit dodgy. I don't want to be cutting off any fingers or toesies, please. You look at that. That's not too bad. Hope it fits. That was some fucking hassle, like. Moment of truth to see if this bath panel fits. After all that cutting, it is now. Oh man, it's 9:30 at night, and I've been cutting with that saw. That's not on, like. Oh well. Uh-oh. No. It's so close. Oh dear. Where do you see how close it is to going in? It is what I would call a ball hair away from going in. Like literally, look at that. I don't know if you can see how close that is. It's like 1 mil off. But it just doesn't seem to be going in. It is literally like 1 mil. So I might just have to sand that down. It's just fucking annoying. Anyway, I reckon that'll look pretty good. when it's in. Okay. So I got the fucker sanded down and in, and it was a pain in the hole, to be honest. I had to just sand it down by hand, and it took remarkably long just to get that one wee mill off and try and keep the sides straight as well. Aye, not what you want to be doing at that time of night after a day's work. Look at me in my crusty old slippers. Them slippers have seen a thing or two, like, poor things. So now I'm trying to get a bit of skirting onto the side of the bath as well, just so it kind of ties in with the rest of the room. And you will see what I mean about it all kind of tying in when it all comes together. And I think it will be worth it. I hope. Because some days I just can't be bothered. Anyway. Got my old wonky chops out again to do some uneven cuts. Without a doubt, the worst thing about living in a place while you're renovating it is the dust. It's all the dust. See, every time you do a bit of a cut on something, like the skirting there, all the sawdust and stuff just flies out of it. And then if you're sanding down walls and stuff, there's just dust everywhere. And it really, really starts to grind on you, like. And it can't be good for you either. So, fuck a dust. Anyway, that's the side of the bath. Still more to do for it, but looked alright. And I got myself a new mattress for free. Got myself a free mattress. Look at that. Look at that for a setup. Get her strapped onto the wagon. There's a hotel in Thurso called the Station Hotel, and I stayed in it for a few weeks whilst I was up here waiting to get the keys for the house, because the sale of the house just kept going on and on and on. I was stuck in this hotel, but I got friendly with the lassie who owned the hotel. She's really nice, and I must have been walking past one day or something, and I saw they were doing some renovations, and I saw some mattresses in a skip, and I was like, "Geese a mattress, would you, for free?" And they did. They gave me a free mattress. And you know what? It's good as new. It's fantastic. It saved me a few £100 in mattress. So I got her strapped to the car, and I was driving around like that, like a real travelling Irishman. Anyway, that's us for this week, folks. Bit of bath paneling, bit of dust, bit of mattresses. Nothing too exciting. Take her easy. See you next week.